Shieldsy eager to get the party going. Well, we're here now, mate. So Thursday, basically Friday. So yeah, it's basically the weekend. I actually have work Christmas party tomorrow. Having a virtual Christmas party. And then catching up with a few people for a Barbie type affair. So, live stream might be late tomorrow night. But it always goes late on a Friday night, so that evens out. So, it is what it is. Que sera, sera, as the saying goes. So Dinging was Aidsy texting me, so he wants to join. So I've sent him the link, so he'll be there sometime from between now and an hour from now. Who knows? The universe is a strange and mysterious place. Shieldsy, I'm super cautious about pretending that it's just 2020 was bad and things will get better afterwards. I remember saying that back in 2016 when things seemed to go quite wrong that year. Things didn't stop going wrong, did they? Not that everything goes wrong, but yeah, I'm just cautious of any kind of magical thinking. Everything's gonna be fine. It's just gonna be fine when we get past December 31st. Somehow that will make everything better. So we shall see, essentially. Ugh, but yes, no. I think we all agree the year has sucked and we shall be well shut of it. Hi, Annette. How are you doing today? It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. I only know about him from the internet, and so it doesn't have the emotional resonance when you see people online, or like, because there was a movie came out last year with Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers, and Americans got all emotional about it. It's going like, oh, cool. I know in the abstract who he is, but it doesn't have the emotional resonance here. Hi, Kyle. Annette busy making whiskey drinks. Nice. I'm actually, for our online work Christmas party tomorrow, I'm doing cocktail tutorials. I'm giving people tips about cocktails and making some cocktails. Day drinking. Woo! Okay. And that's another good point, Shieldsy. When we pass December 31st, there's still 20 days before Trump is officially kicked out of the White House. But and I think in many different ways, it's a nightmarish month and a half ahead for Americans. Isn't it? Somehow, somehow I got the reputation of being the guy who makes cocktails, and it's because we used to we have these disco parties once a month. This one guy who's got like a DJ set up, and we're just doing a online thing where he plays music and everyone just virtually hangs out and chills out and boogies down. And I would make cocktails during those parties, usually only one, sometimes two. So people ask me to do it for the Christmas party. Speaking of party all the time, Daisy.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm feeling a bit cheeky tonight because you know how angry always makes cocktails?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do something a bit special too.
Nice.
I'm going to make for you, and I'll eat it and tell you how it is, some cheese and sauce sandwiches.
Nice. Classy.
I'm going to
Classy.
do that now. I'm just going to go
Okay.
right into it and go cheese and sauce sandwich time. I
Yeah.
won't describe everything as I go. What I'll
Okay.
do is I'll come in like a geist, not a
Ah.
ghost, because I'm
No,
using the German word
the
Geist
spirit.
or spirit. So I'm going to come in like a jump cut of the young kids and
Yeah.
go, now I'm putting on the cheese. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
You're going to be the
Because
geist of
it's
the
what the
site.
kids want. It's what the kids want. And if you ask me questions that the people are asking, and we say hello to them, I'm saying hello to everyone in the chat right now. Hello
Yes.
to everyone in the chat right now. I can't see you because I can't read. And only Angry lets me know who's in the chat. Right. So if there's like messages like I'm going to axe murder AIDSy, he just doesn't let me know. And I
I'd
just
like
have
to be a
to,
surprise.
I hear knocks at the door, and then I see axes come through, and then I see people go, "Here's Johnny," and I go, "That's a really bad ripoff of it, Stephen King movie. Don't do that." And then people tase them in the bot because
Yeah.
I've got some quite nice neighbours who, frankly, like tasing people in the bot. I'll sometimes come out, and my door's a bit skinny because I've gotten a bit fat. I weighed myself at the doctor's today.
Oh yeah.
And I'm 110 kilos, which
Okay.
officially puts me 20 kilos overweight.
Mm.
And I'm going to have to lose 30 kilos in the next sort of couple months. So I have and can done that before, but it's a bit extreme.
Not really
So
safe to lose that in less than about 6 months.
you'd hate to lose it.
No, I said it's not safe to lose that in less than about 6 months.
You know, the weird part is it's not, but my joints are so broken and so powdery that if I don't lose it so fast,
Yeah.
I actually run the risk of breaking my ankles and my knees and my elbows and my wrists. It's fucked because if you lose weight that fast, you're going to yo-yo around a 10 kilo mark, which I'm actually okay. I'm actually okay with yo-yoing around 80 to 90 kilos, which is a fucked thing to say because it's 10 kilos. It's a lot of weight to be fucking around with, and it's a lot of strain to be putting on your body. But if you think of all the other strains I put on my body,
Yes. Yeah.
weight
Just
is the
as usual.
one because that's putting strain on my kidneys, which are fucked. It's fucking around with my immune system, which is fucked. It's fucking around with my heart, which is great. How the fuck did that happen? I've got a shitload of cholesterol and almost no plaque in my system, which made the doctors who were looking for it so angry. Because at the time I was smoking 2.5 packets of smokes a day and eating shit. And they were going, yeah, we'll just test your blood pressure, shall we? And it was the blood pressure of an athlete's. And they looked for plaque, and they went, well, you know, it's obviously you're going to get a heart disease. Looked for plaque, and there was none there. They found a little bit, and they went, he's got the plaque of a 20-year-old drinker. And they were just going grind of their teeth. And effectively, I had the cardiopulmonary system of an athlete, and my blow test that you do for asthmatics was better than fucking city workers, and I was smoking 2.5 packs a day. My blow test nowadays is so much better, but the emphysema that I developed, all smokers have emphysema. All smokers. It's just so little that it's not a problem yet. But what happens is it grows and grows and grows and grows over time, and you're diagnosed with emphysema once you get to the point where it's so hard to get oxygen into you by normal breathing that your lifestyle changes radically. and they give you oxygen to breathe. I've seen people light cigarettes while carrying, their oxygen trolley with them.
Oh, I've seen them outside hospitals. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just
Absolutely.
go, at what point did you figure out that was not the go? And I've
There's a
talked.
song about that.
Hey?
There is literally a song called "The Saddest Thing I Ever Saw Was Smokers Outside the Hospital Door." There's
I
an
didn't know
actual
that.
song about it. Yeah, it's a pretty good song too, from about, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago.
Because I'm that guy.
Time means nothing. Yeah.
Because now you can't vape inside hospitals unless you don't get caught like me. But I do get caught.
And Cheeky Boy does that. Having visited him, he's sitting under the bed going, he absolutely does that. I'm here to rat him out. I know snitches get stitches, but he does that.
I'm never gonna say, "Are you passing the infirmary tonight, sir? Get that stitched, cunt." I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm more likely gonna stick the PVC pipe and barbed wire up your arse, and tie the barbed wire to a dog, which I've doused its tail in kerosene. Then we know what happens next. I don't want to say it on.
No, let's just leave it out.
I want the RSPCA to do a SWAT team to my house.
Yeah.
Because they think it's unconscionable to use a dog like the Greeks used dogs in war. I don't like much of what the Greeks do. See, feta cheese. No.
You're not a feta fan.
Well,
I'm actually a feta fan.
Feta done well, hey, beautiful.
Yeah.
But Greek feta, I think you failed.
And here's Azy trying to start an international incident. Go, but go. Both barrels.
You listen to Greeks and you go, that's how you write a Bible. It's a language that's hateful. It's a language that's precise. It's a language that's all full of mathematics and, I don't know. It's all weasel words, and trying to get out from under the truth.
Yes.
It's all philosophy without mathematics.
Yeah.
And when some poor cunt does actually try and draw a circle and a triangle in the sand, a Roman guard comes up and fucking stabs him, because that's Greece. Do you know the hot gates, the 500, right? Do you know the two fucking tribes that stayed to save fucking Greece were the Spartans, who get all the press, and the thespians, the fucking actors and comedians were the only ones that stayed with the Spartans, because the Spartans needed a route, and the Spartans needed someone to do the actual fighting while they were busy going around oiling their hair. And so the actors and comics did, we better do some sword work here, boys. Izzy Bum recovered from the Spartan treatment. Yes, I'm recovered. Shit, it wasn't as bad as getting my last fucking movie role. So, because that was a bukkake job. The thespians, fucking, they know some shit. They know honor. They know fighting. Because if you've ever tried to get a role, you know how to punch out a fucking young lady who can dance. A barbell to the fucking knee. That's putting her out of the action. Oh, sorry, dear, that I was training next to you. Crunch. Works for ice skaters too. I'm going to make this cheese sandwich, and you should know that I'm a thespian.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a warrior thespian.
A warrior.
And I'm going to tell you as I go. I'm just going to jump in.
All right, jump in. Sandwich time.
Sandwich time. Here we go. and I'm leaving to take off my pants.
Okay.
It's
Even
the
in
first thing
Robot
you've
Man
got to do.
and Shannon and Glee, all the best people make cheese sandwiches sans pants. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's just
fucking
first
have
thing.
pants
Gordon
on.
Ramsay's got people in the kitchen making cheese sandwiches, and he says, "The fuck are you doing with pants on? Get them off."
I can't do that. I'm on TV. And then he comes right up in their face and
Yeah,
starts going, I'm a fucking chef here, and I will fucking tell you that if you got fucking pants off, you're a fucking loser. Fuck this. Put your coat on the hook and fuck off. You're done. You're finished. Stop service. Kitchen's over. And, Chef Ramsay comes up to me and says, nice package. Keep making cheese sandwiches.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Oh,
and I
Keiko,
thought,
your granddad's got COVID. Well, that sucks. The big
oh, that
one.
sucks ass. I'm sorry,
That
babe.
is sucky.
I'm sorry to
Uh,
hear that. I
yeah,
hope he's getting really good treatment.
yeah. All we can do is hope for the best at this point. And
Yeah.
hello, nobody, as well.
Hey,
Um,
nobody, how are you? Did you enjoy our treatise on Christianity and nice Christians and bad Christians?
yeah, I think nobody always enjoys talking to you about Christianity and faith generally.
Good.
But we're
Because
not.
I enjoy talking about it to him.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, Grasshopper wants to know if we do Angry Bunch. Probably. Yeah. What
Yeah.
if Thursday
Yeah.
night? Let's do
I'm
that.
trying to keep my answers down to 2 minutes tonight.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of that. That's always fun.
So if we want to do Ask Adrian anything or Ask AZ anything, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh no, that's all right. That'll work.
What's worn under the kilt?
Nothing. It's all in perfect working order.
I was worried. I was just worried something had gone wrong under the kilt there. As a,
Oh yeah, it has.
I know.
Believe me, it's not. It's not standard issue.
No.
Believe me, there's a lot of extensive renovation work going on.
Yeah.
And has had to be more lately.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There was one of those, you get the home renovation show and the doctors looked and they just went, no, this is not so much as Reno as a total knockdown rebuild job.
Knockdown rebuild, and they did. And they said,
And you might think, I don't want someone saying that about my scrote, but it worked out in the end, is what we're saying.
I found a thing out. Fuck. Okay, so I said openly to people,
Yeah.
I feel very blessed and very lucky.
Yeah.
That everything is in working order.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's going to take some time. But if I couldn't have sex again, I'd kill myself.
Okay.
And at the time, I fucking meant it. Do I mean it now? I don't know. But that was the last thing. For me, that was the last thing. And the doctors shut the fuck up. They didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And I found out years later when I was having, I'm just going to say it, erectile dysfunction problems. And I went to my GP and said, yeah, I'm having trouble with the old fella getting a job done. And he said, okay, we have to have this conversation now. And he said, when you initially said that you were ejaculating blood when you came out of hospital, me and your doctors freaked out because we never thought you'd get an erection ever again. But we didn't want to tell you because you had boldly told us that you would kill yourself. We were just going to slowly bring you
around to that.
But you basically, bold as punch said this was happening, and so that was why you had a lot of weird examinations going on, as well as a electrode up the bum, which gives you an instant erection and makes you ejaculate at the same time. It's the weirdest thing because the thing goes up your bum and it's like, it's up my bum. Oh, Jesus. And then they zap and your dick goes twang splash. And then it's all over. And you go, where was the fun? And so finally I now know what it's like to be a stud cattle who gets artificially inseminated or artificially harvested for sperm, because it's like there was no fun there. You know, you can be a bull wanker all you like, but there was no joy there. It was just, I want your jizz now, and I just went. That was not dinner and a movie. That was not a nice corsage. That was not a moonlit stroll. That was violating. And I said that in jest, and they said, "Oh shit, are you okay?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm not, but I'm not putting that in the dishwasher." The machine that they used, and they dragged it out of me, and then they looked at me, and then they went, "Oh God," and laughed, and they said, "You're evil and wicked." And then finally the doctor said, "We have to have this conversation. We didn't ever think that this had happened, so we're in actual territory that we don't understand. Then that's you all over. So here's what we're going to try, and we're going to go from here." And they tried some things and it worked, and that was great. So they're also trying other things at the moment as well, because there's other problems, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I was going to get on to the fact that I found out that a lot of guys with Foyer's gangrene lose their penis. They lose their scrot and their penis. And I just went,
well, I have ill-advisedly looked those pictures up on.
and I just felt that's so unfair. And I looked up one, and I thought it was a picture of a lady who had the Foyer's gangrene. No, it was a picture of a man who'd lost the lot, and it was still carving into his body.
Yeah.
So he had what I thought to be vagina, and it wasn't. And I just thought, you poor bastard, how can you? Anyway, and I was pretty drugged out, and I heard these doctors say, "Is he circumcised?" And I heard him mumble, and he said, "Oh, thank God for small mercies. At least we can tell him his dick doesn't have to go." And apparently what happens, and it doesn't happen all the time, let's get this straight, it doesn't happen all the time, right? But apparently in like 17% of cases, once they've done the initial emergency service surgery and you live, which is not always guaranteed, the disease itself attaches to your foreskin, and while they're not looking, because it's on the inside, it attacks your glans penis as well, and they have to basically
choppy
off. And you end up with this stub that's about a centimetre long at the base of your penis that is able to expel urine. I am not a fan.
No, it doesn't sound appealing.
And I feel very grateful that wasn't my lot. I have another story about how I got some smegma and got abused for it.
Yeah.
But we'll do that another time.
We'll do it another time, because Silumi walked in on that conversation and is somewhat mortified to have walked in at that exact point. But,
absolutely,
you roll the dice.
The reason that was brought up was it was all Geist. And so I'm going to be in and out like a Geist and pants off, because you've got to be happy with pants off and nappies on. And so here we go, making the cheese and sauce sandwiches. First, you need the bread.
So AD's being the Geist of the night, basically, swanning in and out, making the tasty cheese and sauce sandwiches, while the rest of us carry on. Shieldsy, no one knows how Aidsy is still alive after after all of that. No one knows. I mean, actually, after all complications he'd already had, to come down with something that has like a 95% fatality rate is, and that's in strong, healthy people. Oof. Yes, that's a good summary, Silumi. The coming in on that was rolling a natural 1 in D&D. Just one of those bad timing things, but that's okay. These things happen, and we do our best to soldier on. We got to plan for these things, and hey, it could be worse. The US just had their first, but by no means last day of more than 3,000 COVID fatalities in a single day. And that's going to look like a walk in the park compared to what's happening by the end of January. That is my prediction. It was one of those things that I really want to be wrong because it's a fucking horrible situation. Someone on what I saw a thing online. One of the presenters on one of the TV shows got rather emotional. Bread.
The bread.
Bread.
It's not going to save you from COVID-19.
No.
But it will stop you getting hungry. It's fucked that the poor old Americans are having 300,000 deaths. 3,000
a day.
3,000 a day. It blows my mind because you're starting to get into a place where this is more deadly than war.
Yeah, that would be
because of war.
That would be a catastrophic day in a war. Yeah.
Can you imagine the money that they'd be spending on it and the mobilization of the country? Can you imagine it? Just a thought.
Yeah. So
bread is day old bread.
Okay.
And will be nuclefied so that it is softened.
Nice.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Pro tip.
Think moist.
Moist. Yeah, that thing with those weird lawsuits in the US, I can't tell if any of the people behind them seriously think they're going to get anywhere, or if it's all just about the Trump grift. Because Trump is raising tens of millions of dollars on the regular, telling people it's a fighting fund for these court cases. And yes, they have apparently wasted millions of dollars on all the shit they've been doing. But since the election, he's raised over $100 million. So it's a long way ahead. And it's a clear fucking grift on Trump's part. But it's slightly terrifying to watch as Trump's doing this very obvious grift to enrich himself down the line. He does not care how much damage he does to the fabric of US society in the meantime. And it's more than a little fucking disturbing to see this shit in action. And I can't tell if the people pushing these court cases believe what they're saying or it's just all part of the grift. Neither of them is good. You know, when you're left with a situation where the only two possibilities, and they are the only two possibilities, the people are fucking morons. And okay, so, the two possibility is they're stupid enough to believe something that is absolutely absurd, and the other possibility is they're grifters. Ooh, the spread, the buttery blend.
Buttery blend It's a soft spreading canola butter blend so that you don't have to rip holes in the bread. Pro tip.
Yeah. Yes, musical elevator. Those are the two things. Either they're really stupid and they actually believe this shit, or they believe everyone else is stupid and it's a grift. And it's definitely a grift. And Trump definitely thinks his supporters are fucking morons. And he's definitely consciously ripping them off. But you get some reports that suggest Trump actually believes this shit. And my initial view was he doesn't believe it for a second. And the entire thing was a premeditated scam on his part. Like he orchestrated all the stages of this scam. And he never believed the shit he was saying for a second. But then you get some people saying that they think Trump actually believes the shit he's saying. It's going, well, I'm honestly not sure what's more disturbing, that he or the people around him are so disconnected from reality that they think this shit is real, or he very actively knows it's all a complete lie and it's just a shameless grift to rip people off, and he does not care at all that he's like ripping American society apart for his own personal gain. I think it's the latter. I think that he's such a fucking sociopath that he does not care about the damage he's doing, and the damage he's doing is fucking significant. Undermining the basic concept of truth and reality, making it not so like people are upset that they lost, but saying you didn't lose, you were cheated, and whipping up anger and hysteria. And when it's clear that there are millions and millions of people who are absolutely fucking unhinged and believe the stupidest fucking shit imaginable, and whipping those people up in a country with a really violent culture. It's incredibly disturbing to see in action. And, just where does it end up? Who fucking knows? Because it's very interesting. The next test is the Georgia Senate runoff elections. When are they actually on? Georgia Senate race. When is that on? 3 days. Georgia. Well, there we go. When are the Georgia runoffs? In January. When? In November, none of the senatorial candidates garnered 50% or more of the vote, which is required by state law. So they're having another runoff to determine the sole winner. Both runoffs on January 5. Early in-person voting starts on December 14th. The same day, the Electoral College is set to formally cast its vote for President-elect Joe Biden. And there's 2 seats, and if the Democrats win both of them, which is not impossible, it's probably not the most likely outcome, but it's not impossible. It's not even that unlikely. It's just not the most likely outcome. The Democrats would control the Senate. So that means they could actually get shit done, controlling the White House, the Congress, and the Senate. Supreme Court's another thing, but, there you go. So you think Trump wants to be Lukashenko? Maybe.
I found out something about the Supreme Court.
Huh?
If you write your law in a really simple way,
Yeah.
they have a lot of difficulty running it through the Constitution and saying, "Oh, this is where it's unconstitutional."
Yeah.
You've got to, and they've done that a few times by going, if 1 and 1 is 2, then 2 and 1 is 3, and 2 and 11 is 5, and there's no precedent that you can get your cracks into, and so the Supreme Court goes, well, rule stands up, even if it's really unpopular. This is a sandwich making knife, also known as a butter knife. It doesn't.
Yeah.
This one has serrations on it because I'm aggressively flat butter styling. When you get it out of the tub, the butter's got to have a flat top. I'm not a digging butter procurer like other people in the house are. I'm mostly talking about boss of the house who just digs in. It's probably because he's left-handed and sinistral. Sinister
Very sinister.
comes from the left-handed. Dexterous, dexterity, and integrity comes from right-handed people. Right-handed people are, of course, more creative than left-handed people.
Okay.
That might be a lie, but this is a sandwich making knife.
Good to know. Safa, what do I think about the industrial relations changes that the Libs are trying to push in? It's typical fucking class warfare horseshit from them. And Labour are weak as piss and will let it go through. Simple as that. But yeah, no, it's fucked. We know from the last 10, 20 years, going back to the Howard years, the stuff they tried to get in and failed. We know the ultimate goal of the Liberal Party's industrial relations platform, and that is to make as many people casual as possible with no rights whatsoever, no right to protest if you're fired, no matter how fucking unreasonable the firing is. They want there to be 0-hour contracts. So basically, there's no minimum. Like the boss could just call you out of the blue to say, "I need you to come in for an hour because we're busy," and it would cost you more to get to work than you would be paid for that hour. And he just goes, "Well, if you don't come in, you don't have a job." Same deal. You might be showing up for what you think is a 6-hour shift, and the boss can just say after 1 hour, "No, you go home now," and with no benefit to you. They also want employers to be able to pay their workers in kind. So, like, you show up for your shift and finish your shift and expect to be paid, and the boss would legally be able to go, "I'm going to pay you by giving you a couple of family-sized pizzas, and that's your pay for this shift that you just slogged your guts out for." Basically, the short version is the Liberal Party's ultimate goal: as many people as possible on casual employment with no rights whatsoever, no penalty rates, no benefits, no job security, no minimum conditions, and boss to be able to sack you on a whim for no reason. So basically, they're begging to be dragged into the town square and strung up from the light poles, as far as I'm concerned. So they are fucked. They are absolutely fucked. And they are also lying fucking scum because that part of their thing they're proposing allows bosses to force workers into new agreements that make the workers worse off than they currently are. and the lying fucking sacks of shit just keep going, oh, no one will be worse off. But it's actually explicitly in your proposed legislation that bosses can force workers onto agreements that make them less well off. Running commentary.
Choose your cheese very carefully. You'll notice that this is picture brand cheese
Yeah.
from the shopping centre Coles. We didn't go no name brand, we went picture brand. It is cheaper than the name brand, but it is still fairly high quality. High quality cheese will outdo a low quality cheese for satisfaction and often nutrition.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, I tend to like the store brand cheddars, actually. They're usually pretty good. Nothing like treating yourself occasionally and getting some fucking top end cheese because, yeah, we have the periodic cooking with AZ segments, Shieldsy. It's just the way things are in this modern world. So we talk about cheese. Cheese conversations the other night. How much I like the Costco cheeses. Well, they're not Costco cheeses. Costco is just one of the few places in Australia that sells them. Notably, the Wookie Hole cheddar, which first time I heard of that was when I was in England one time. There's a place in England called Wookie Hole. There are caves there, and people have been aging cheese in these caves for centuries because it's a controlled temperature. It's like a fridge, and it's the same temperature all year round. Like if it's sub-zero outside, the caves are the same temperature they are if it's the middle of summer. People have been maturing cheeses in these caves for centuries because it's a controlled environment. And the Wookie Hole cheddar is basically my favorite, just bog standard cheddar. There's nothing cheating or being fancy. No additives. Oh, what do we got? Oh, the sauce.
Mind out of the hairy gutter and look at your barbecue sauce. This can be swapped out for tomato sauce. And again, you're looking at your picture brand homegrown variety, but this is clearly a bottle of White Crow. It's just in a different label. You can't mistake the White Crow brand.
Yeah.
Don't go for your Heinz. Disappointment is something that you can't wash off with a sponge or whoredom. Go for your White Crow, and tonight we're going for picture brand barbecue sauce.
Thank you for the blessing, Captain Deadpool. Shalom. So I was saying fancy cheddars, besides Wookie Hole, which is just a straight cheddar, but is the best straight cheddar I've had, I think. They have these flavored ones, essentially. One's called champagne cheddar, which they have somehow infused with like a champagne wine flavor, and it's quite good. And one that is probably my favorite one they have is this truffle cheese. It's a softish cheddar infused with truffle, and it's fucking yum. And I haven't had it for ages because I haven't been to Costco for ages. Because when lockdown was happening, it was too far away. Like it's more than 10 kilometers away from my home. So I couldn't legally go to Costco for about 3 months. I have been legally allowed to go to Costco for a month or so now, and I just haven't. Might do it before Christmas, to one day before Christmas to get a couple. I don't know. I don't have much fridge or freezer space though, so maybe I won't. Who knows? Hey, cooking with AZ and shopping with Angry. It's this. This is the fucking. I nearly knocked my glass over. This is the top shelf content people come here for. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm going to do the Angry Bunch for anyone who wants to copy the old linky Rooney. That's the link. If anyone wants to join the chat, and if Shannon's still there on Facebook, I'll put it on Facebook as well. There we go. It is what it is. It is what it is. What is that though? Okay, no, that's done. That's done and clear. So, Safa, does shopping at Costco save over the market? And hey, Bobo, how you doing? Safa, Costco sells you great big things. If you Costco was always designed for shops, cafes, and restaurants to buy huge fucking things in bulk, and it does save on that front. So for your home use, you have to either have a big fucking family or a big freezer. There we go. Cheese and sandwiches.
Now, note carefully that the corners of the bread can't protrude too far over the plate, because this is going in a microwave, round and round.
Oh, yes.
You don't want it to hit the wall and splurge off, because there's no amount of crying will put a melted cheese glob back together as a sandwich.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cut twice, measure later.
Yeah, that's how that saying goes. So, yes, in terms of saving money at Costco, if you are going to use a fucking huge amount of something, you save because of the volume. But Costco also has some normal size stuff that other people don't have as well. Let's go where I get the 1.75 liter bottles of booze. They have these giant bottles of like Jim Beam or vodka or whatnot. I haven't bought one of them in ages. So it's an adventure, Costco, basically. You can get coffins there, which I thought was quite a nice touch. They sell an absolutely enormous range of stuff. It's not just groceries, wet goods, dry goods, drinkies. They sell electronics, big fucking
motor scooters at Walmart.
Yeah. Jacuzzis. You can get a jacuzzi at Costco. You can get a coffin at Costco. A little bit of everything. Bobo, you found out once when camping, just a sprinkle of salt on buttered bread is actually quite nice. Pick up these tips when you think alcohol's more important than food. Actually, salt is pretty fucking amazing with what it can do. Stuff.
Salt is a good thing. Salt is a good thing. Economies have been run on salt.
Literally, yes.
Entire fucking civilizations have been saved by salt. Entire kingdoms have been founded on finding a salt mine.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Jews if there weren't salt.
There you go. Oh, and it is Hanukkah today, by the way.
Oh, happy Hanukkah. For all our Jewish mates.
Yes.
And
so it is
non-mates Jewish.
Was it 12 days? How many days is Hanukkah?
Is it 13, I think, mate.
What?
I think it's 13.
How many days is Hanukkah? How many days is Hanukkah? 8. 8.
It's 8. Dude, it's 8.
It's 8.
Just so that you know, it's 8. I knew that.
You did. Of course you did. So, yes. So, because I live in a very Jewish neighborhood, if I wear my work clothes, and because I'm very Melbourne, so if I was wearing office clothes, it would be black pants, white shirt, and a vest, and my dark hat. A lot of the neighborhood folk lead tended to assume I was Jewish, in fact, and would proselytize to me and want to talk about, the season and all of that. Yes, Africa. Shieldsy, where's it? Where's the button? Where's the button? There's Shieldsy. Hey, mate. Can't hear you. So
press the mic.
There you go, buddy. There you go. How you doing?
Yeah,
Good.
You've turned up.
Ooh,
My
you've got
evil
your
sauce.
You've got your sauce. Nice, nice.
Nice.
Gotta have the
You've
Elby
turned up
brand.
at the first biting of the
Ooh.
The exciting moment.
important to let it sit. Let the microwaves do their thing and melt cheese on the inside, and also
Can't
don't
rush
burn 4 kinds of fuck out of yourself.
Yes, lava cheese.
Lava cheese. Funny when it's Americans.
Yeah.
Not so funny when it's us.
Yeah.
Funny when it's Americans doing pranks. Lava cheese. I remember driving around not the Little River Band, Air Supply, when I was driving rock stars around, and their roadies were complaining that McDonald's had really changed in America because of health and safety, and all of their burgers were cold, and their hot apple pies weren't hot.
Were they ever hot?
And they said they missed the days when you used to be able to eat hot apple pie, and it was like fucking eating hot lava coming down your throat. And it said, we still have them.
Yeah.
And so there was an immediate, we are going to McDonald's now.
Yeah.
I'm going, we are in the country of Victoria, in rural Victoria. We might not be able to come across fuck me, there's a Macca's. So in we go to the Macca's, and the guys get, favourites they hadn't seen for years, and we sit down and we eat. And sure enough, the hot apple pies were hot and we're burning them, and they were just loving every minute of it. And they were just really stuffing themselves. We get to the venue, there's lunch laid on for us, they eat that. One of the guys is lactose intolerant, and he's had a full shake at McDonald's, and he says, oh, it's okay, it's just synthetic stuff and pig fat. And I went, no, actually, in Australia, it's milk with ice crushed through it and flavoured chocolate. So you might have just drank a litre of milk. I went, no, I'd know, because I'd be getting an upset stomach. 20 minutes later, it's going, I'm about to expel $50 worth of McDonald's and $80 worth of top-end food from out my ass. And so he sat on the toilet and was screaming as we heard the thunder of the light of the
oh dear. Oh,
and of course his mates were terribly supportive and were recording it and and laughing their ass out, going, this is Jonesy getting Montezuma's revenge from not reading the label on his food. And he's like really screaming, and then he really screamed, like it was a full-on scream.
Oh yeah.
And then he stopped, and they've gone, Jesus Christ, he's dead.
You see, he's died on the toilet.
It killed Elvis.
Died on the toilet.
And he had been complaining of constipation for a couple of weeks. And he was screaming, and it stopped. I thought, fuck, it's killed him. He's done a vessel, and it's killed him. And then we hear, oh my God, and then another waterfall. And he says, oh my, and then there's this waterfall that lasted for about a minute, and then this fart that lasted for about a minute and a half. I shit you not, a minute and a half fart, and we're going, that's not right. That's not right. We need deodorizers now. Go to the supermarket and buy deodorizers because that door's going to have to open one day.
Oh no!
So I was sent over to get deodorizers, and I got proper good ones. Out of petty cash, and they said, "You got the cheap ones, yeah?" And I went, "Oh yeah, bullshit. I got the most hardcore ones I could find that did smell nice." Anyway, he goes, "I'll be out in a minute," and then we can hear it sort of wiping, and because it was rural Victoria, thank Christ they hadn't gone low flow dunnies yet, and it had one of those flusher tanks that was a header tank that was way up the top.
Oh yes, it had a bit of gravity on its side
and had 12 litres of water in it.
Yeah.
And so he's pulled the chain, and we can hear this going gurgle, and he's gone, "Oh my God, it's going to come out of the..." And then we hear the boosh ram as the water pushes everything down the S-bend.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, that's lucky. Australian toilets are weird. They don't spiral." And it's like, yeah, we want shit to go away. And so he comes out of there, and I shit you not, he could put his belt tighter 3 notches because we had a stiffened stool lodged up in his descending colon that had been there for about a fucking month, and this thing had been finally dislodged, and his whole body just de-bloated, and he just looked thinner and better. He said, and he was just like bouncing around the stage for the rest of the night.
I feel good.
I feel fucking great. Whenever I get bloated like that again, I'm going to go to an Australian McDonald's and have a shake.
Good way to lose weight.
He just felt amazing, and I just went, "What do these people eat to get that going wrong with you?" And I've found recently that your cheese and sauce sandwich eaten every day in quantity can give you that kind of stool.
Oh dear.
I would describe it, but it's time
for
Chelsea to come in with his anecdote.
Yeah, no, that's worrying. Well, this is my culinary exploration today. It's I peeled some lemons and limes and juiced them, but this is the peels. Covered it in sugar. Overnight, the sugar will leach all the oils out of the citrus peel, turn into a goopy syrup. Add a bit of water, stir, strain it, and then I've got a sort of lemony lime sugar syrup for cocktails. Makes it just a little bit special in the cocktails. And also, I slipped and cut my finger with the peeler. And geez, don't you know you're alive when you've got a cut on your finger while you're peeling and juicing citrus? It's just like a tiny little cut, and it's just. And I actually, because it was a really sharp peeler, it was a tiny cut, but it just bled heaps. So I had to stick a Band-Aid on it. But, oh, Jesus. Tiny little cut, but you know it's there. It's the citrus oil.
Oh, yeah.
There, and like, oh, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. That's special.
I know of a lady who convinced a young man to let her put a stiletto down the eye of his penis about 1 centimetre.
Some people are into that, yeah.
He wasn't.
So nobody's heading off. He has company, so I just want to say good night to nobody. Bye.
And he successfully charged her with assault. And so
that was okay. That wasn't willing. Okay,
no,
all right.
No,
and there's Grasshopper. Ooh, sexy, clean shaven Grasshopper. Look at that.
Grasshopper, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm loving the shave.
Thank you.
How's the chemo going? Because you don't look like you're out of the woods yet, but you're looking a little better.
No, it's I've had very little side effects from the methotrexate because I'm on really low doses. Yeah, like I'm only on 20 milligrams a week, so the sorts of damage that it can do require much higher dosages than what I'm on. Turns out,
it does, but
turns out,
it
no,
always poisons your body.
no. Well, it turns out that the lack of color in my face and the lack of color in my skin is my latest blood test showed that I literally have no vitamin D in my system at all, like none. So the doctor has put me on mega doses of vitamin D for the next 3 months. I have to take 3,000 milligrams a day.
Oh God.
That's quite a bit.
Ooh, wow. You also
That's
got to be
quite a bit of
careful because I've been to 1 or 2 bars that if you loudly said, I need some vitamin D, strange things are going to happen.
Look, it has been a while since I've had a good dose of
Can you
vitamin
not
D, but
stay there strange, please?
What?
Can you not stay there strange?
Oh, look, honestly, sometimes
welcome.
obviously.
AIDS,
Yeah.
they were perfectly normal until you rocked up, and then you just decided to just take it down that path.
Yeah, it was all fun and games till
AIDS showed up.
By the way, myself and Dangerously Talented are probably going to start a show in the future called Cooking on the Dole. And next year might be the go because there'll be a lot more people on the dole.
There will be.
We're looking for recipes and cooking techniques. So it's basically one half.
My sister's in the chat.
Boys first home away from mum, and one half you've got 1 foot in the homeless tent. So how can you make your food for cheaper? Because one of the things we noticed in my block of flats that I live in with all the students is that they buy takeaway almost every fucking night. And then they complain that they haven't got enough money for drugs at the end of the week. Yeah. And it's like, guys,
it's the takeaway
shit together. Stop eating the takeaway. Start cooking this shit.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, just to jump quickly and say hi to Sherry, who's in the Facebook. Cherie. You never know how people pronounce her name. Cherie. Shilty's sister is slightly surprised to come on and find him here. So that's okay.
Cherie, you might want to know some of the stuff that he's been saying when you've not been around, but not when you've not been around. He's been spreading some horrible lies and rumors. I'm telling you.
Oh dear.
And Hellion lies though, because he was showing us videotape. The head moved a bit different to the body.
It was something to do with a hamster and a bathtub full of custard and a wetsuit. I'm not too sure about the rest.
Yeah, and there was cocaine involved.
There was a lot of cocaine as well, yeah.
But the hamster had all of it.
I didn't quite get
Yeah, the hamster had all of it.
Yeah, the hamster.
I believe that
that hamster was.
If I remember rightly, the hamster. If I remember rightly, the hamster was actually hand delivered by Richard Gere. So.
Oh, yeah. Back in the pre-internet days, when we could still have stupid fucking rumors, and it's these things circulated. Richard Gere and the Gerbil, and in Australia, Don Lane and the glass top coffee table, and it just how the fuck did who one day just said, I'm just going to completely make this story up. And then some years later, half the world knows the story they made up. And they're like, well, bugger me. There you go.
I wonder what it would be like in today's society, though, with how fast misinformation spreads on the internet. Like pre-internet, pre-Facebook, pre-social media, it was literally like the smallest of tiniest of percentage of people who believed that the earth was flat. And now all of a sudden there's like literally hundreds of thousands of them around the world. And yes, I meant to say around the fucking world.
Yeah.
It's just like idiocy just seems to spread like fucking wildfire.
I did notice, actually, Cherie seems to think we don't even know the worst about Shielty in here. So
sorry, idiocy does not spread; it is already there. I was very lucky as a young man. I was surrounded by comics 24/7, and I thought the world was full of brilliant, creative, genius people. And then I got fired from comedy, and I met people, and I met a dickhead. It's okay, you met a dickhead. Whatever. And then I met another dickhead. Strange. 2 dickheads in 15 minutes. And then I met another dickhead. This was at a party. And then I kept on meeting dickheads all night at this party. And I thought, okay, it's just a party that's attracted dickheads. It happens. Then I went out on the street and there were dickheads there. And then I went into a workplace and there were dickheads there. And I found that actually what happens is there's actually very few non-fuckwits in the world. And that my job as comedian relied on the fact that people believed me when I said, okay, for the last 45 minutes I've lied to you. I've said this happened and then this twisted and then now you can see it's all line with laugh. This time it's really, really real. So what happened is I was at a line in a supermarket and then here's the twist and here's the punchline. So you see I was lying? But this time, it's really, really real. And I'll sit there for an hour and a half believing you. The world is full of idiocy and people who believe in narrative. And so if you are told that there is a flying spaghetti monster who dishes out punishment to the good and the bad, that is in orbit around the Earth, then you will believe that until forever, because it's too hard to disprove that. I also wanted to point out that I know some of the worst things that Shields is. I still have scars that I've had to cover up with tattoos near my anus and back of my spine. I say back of my spine because there's a jewel that Shieldsy put at the front of my spine with his tertiary sex organ. To mark me as his. And I felt violated, which was what was supposed to happen. And I'm kind of into it now. There's a GPS tracker that gives me an electric shock every time I get an erection because Shieldsy says so.
Grows on you.
Good on you, Shieldsy.
Yeah, that sort of thing. You start to look forward to it.
It grows on you, much like AIDS's erection.
Yeah.
And I managed to swallow. I've said many times.
I was going to say, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I've entered the chat when it just devolves into this.
I really wasn't ready for that. I haven't.
It's a talent.
Food or water for a long fucking time. So
it's a talent.
Fucking Angry hasn't made me snarf for years.
Challenge accepted.
He did though a couple of times. Fucking, I really lost it, and I felt like a dick. And then it was weeks of me fucking trying to fucking get him. When we were doing the stand-ups with two of us, we would go through roughly what we were doing, and then every now and again we'd like clink here, have a grenade, and just toss it over and catch, and see what he would do with it.
Quick funny story. When I was working with a bunch of guys, before that job, I used to play an MMORPG called Conquer. And in that game, we had a bunch of people from like all sorts of different ethnicities in our online guild. We had Italians and Dutch and Danish and all sorts of things. And I don't know how it came about, but we needed to find out how to say your boyfriend's nipples are tasty in every language that we could possibly figure out inside of this game. I don't know how it came about. I wasn't there for that part of the conversation. I just came back into the game. I came into the game one night and somebody literally typed it in Dutch. I, of course, had no idea what the hell it meant. And one of the people in my guild, I private messaged them and said, "What the hell is this?" And they turned around and said, "Oh, right, you weren't here for the conversation," and explained it. So fast forward many years, I'm working at a place. My best friend, a guy by the name of Alex, he marries a lovely, lovely lady by the name of Anna, who was born and raised in Russia until the age of 12 and then emigrated to America and was in Australia on a student visa. Met Alex. They fell madly in love while she was over here studying. She needed to go back to America, so they got married so that he could go back over to America with her. And it struck me that I never thought how to say your boyfriend's nipples are tasty in Russian. One of the guys that I work with was Russian.
Right.
I explained to the Russian-speaking workmate the entire backstory and how I'm going to say something like that. And he looks at me all confused for a couple of minutes, and look, I don't know how to teach you how to say it in Russian. So what I'll do is I'll write it down on a piece of paper and just send her a message or show her the piece of paper. And I was like, okay. So he wrote it out for me in a piece of paper. I'd put it in my pocket. Fast forward a few weeks, I'd completely forgotten about it. And then I run into Anna online. And I thought, oh, great. I pull out the piece of paper and I type in what's on the piece of paper. And Anna responds with, "I roll, thanks, ... I think." And I sent her back a message saying, "What the hell did I just say to you?" And she said, "In Russian, you just told me that my anus is pretty."
Hey, a compliment's a compliment. You take them where you can get.
Take the win. Take the win, Anna.
I apologize profusely. 2 days later, I go back into work. I walk up to Russian-speaking workmate and promptly punch him in the arm as hard as I could. Don't say anything to him. Just walk straight up and whack straight in his arm.
And he looks at me, what the?
He looks at me, "What the fuck was that for?" And I said, "Your anus is pretty?" And he goes, "Oh, fuck, you actually sent that to it, didn't you?" I'm going to get you back for this, you bastard. I am going to get you back.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
I had a friend who could speak Polish, and we weirdly ran into an old drunk Polish guy in a pub. They were all communists, and they were singing old Polish communist songs. And so he leans over to me and says, "Say to him, duh, 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 duh." And I go, "Oh, I know you're setting me up. Okay. So what am I saying?" And he's saying like, "I'm a comrade in arms." And I go, "I know that's not what I'm saying." So
that's not what I'm saying.
So I said, "I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway." So I go blah, 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 in Polish, and the old bloke starts roaring, laughing, and says like, "You're a funny man." And all right, Dave, now you can tell. I know what did I actually say. I said, "Oh, you said you're for sale and your price is high, but you have the best ass in the place." So it's like, and it's like, yeah. It's like I knew I'd been set up, but what the hell? Why not broaden your horizons and find out what he's fucking doing? But
just to put the cherry on top on my story there, about a month after all of that was said and done, we had a after work party at one of our stores one of these nights for another workmate's birthday. And just before we were closing up the store, like the store's completely packed with us workers and these two customers. And they've come in, the front USB ports on their computer had stopped working. Now, sometimes that just means that you've just got to change the port that the front header is plugged in on the motherboard from one port to another. And sometimes that it gets the front USBs working again. It's a really easy fix. So, of course, it was the Russian-speaking workmate that gets these customers. And he's like, "Look, I'll just try and change the port and see if it works, and, we'll take it from there." And they were like, "No worries." And he goes out the back and he opens up the side of the case and he moves the cable over and he tries it out and it's still not working. And he turns around and he goes, "Why can't you be easy? Why can't you be easy? I wanted easy money. Why can't you be easy?" And before I even thought about it, I turned around and said, "Because if it was easier to be your mum." The entire store absolutely lost it, including the customers. Including the customers. They thought it was the best line ever. And Dennis has just gone, "Payback given."
Yeah. No, that's good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, I just saw
Yeah.
the weird bit of trivia news story that I did. Their Boxing Day cricket test is going ahead in Melbourne, and they're allowing up to 30,000 people into the MCG. I'm sure they're all supposed to sit a metre apart from each other. Like a normal Boxing Day test gets 80,000 people.
80 to 90,000, yeah.
Yeah. And so they're letting 30,000 people on. And the same article tells me the SCG is allowed to operate at its full capacity, which is 48,000 people.
Yep.
But yeah, as they're saying, like in the midst of our shitty times a couple of mere months ago, they didn't even know if the Boxing Day test was going to go ahead. No one knew what fucking state we're going to be in. And here we are, 40 days, no cases. And oh God, no! It's got the stage where I feel mildly guilty reveling in that too much because the Northern Hemisphere is in so much fucking shit.
I'm still too afraid to go on public transport without a mask.
Oh, I won't go on public transport.
Well, you're not allowed to here. You
Yeah.
have to go masked.
Yeah, no.
No one in Queen. We at one stage everyone had masks on, and then suddenly everyone stopped wearing masks again.
I still
no,
mask
I'm
up.
not taking off. No.
You know, if I'm going to the shopping center or whatever, I still mask up. Like it's not that uncomfortable. And what March we hopefully if Scummo actually does his fucking job, by about March-ish we should start getting the vaccine starting to roll out. Yeah, I know it's wishful thinking. I know, but
we're not going to get effective vaccine protection until best case scenario late next year. So what we got to bank on is we continue to have no local transmission, which means no international travelers,
I
basically.
was going to say it takes one idiot to slip through the bay border.
Oh yeah, like happened here with some German.
Yeah.
it was like those idiots, the rich idiot that got on his boat, like from Melbourne and traveled up to Queensland.
Yeah. Came out and came into the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just up here dropping my boat off to get fixed. Bullshit.
Yeah. No, it only takes one dickhead, and it takes one dickhead and a couple bits of bad luck. And
Yes.
and so far, I've been very impressed by New South Wales because they've had the foreign arrivals coming into quarantine. They've had these low-level breakouts for like 6 months, and they've contained every single one of them. I've been very impressed with that. I mean, because it's easy to look at Melbourne and go, we're in a complete pile of shit, and like, look at us now. But New South Wales has had this other thing, whereas like low-level outbreaks kept happening, and they kept keeping a lid on them. No fucking small feat.
As much as I hate my governor up here, I'm glad she shut the border when she did.
Oh,
No, I need to say something there in terms of the New South Wales thing. That is in spite of our fucking state premier, not because of her.
It's the health services, not the politicians. But like one of the border closures cracked me up because Scummo in the national cabinet kept saying don't do it, and all the state premiers said, how about fuck you? And they were proven right again and again and again, as far as I'm concerned. And Scummo
Don't you
said,
imagine? You imagine what the US would be if they did the same.
Yeah, they could be a completely manageable situation.
I know.
Not
Can you imagine
100,000
what the US
cases
would
a
be
day
if
and
they
2,000
said
deaths. 3,000.
You
Yes.
must wear a mask inside.
Well, Dr. Fauci himself actually said that if he, like, you know, if somebody could grant a magic wish and flick their fingers and have everybody basically just stay exactly where they were for 2 weeks, no going out, no visiting anybody, just like literally everyone stays at home for 2 weeks and that's it. And when, like, every person, when they're inside for that 2 weeks, every single one of them gets tested. After the 2 weeks is up, everybody that tests positive stays inside for another 2 weeks by themselves. Coronavirus would disappear inside of 1 month. We have been told this by the experts, and yet you have got a fuckwit like Trump ignoring it.
Mm.
Yeah. But America's
Well,
too far gone for that. Even if
Oh, yeah,
they'd
now,
done
yeah.
that 3 months ago, if they did that 3 months ago, sure. But they're fucked now. They're just fucked.
Yeah, I've got 4 friends that live over in the States, and I am terrified of just getting a message from one of them saying, "By the way, I've tested positive." Like, all of them are in good health, and all of them are relatively young, and all of that sort of stuff. But I still wouldn't, from everything that I've been able to read about this fucking virus, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
It tends to make you real sick. You either don't get anything, or like very mild, or you get real fucking sick. Like
But even
young,
in
healthy
the case,
people called it turbo flu. It's like 2 to 4 weeks of just being on your fucking back. You can't walk around a room, and then a really long recovery period.
in some of the cases that I've read about as well, where the person was completely asymptomatic during their entire bloody infection, they felt fine, but then started testing negative. What they found after that was like 100% complete lack of taste, 100% complete lack of smell.
Yeah, that's one of the side effects.
I think another side effect is AIDS is about to fall asleep on us again.
No,
That's
I'm
okay.
thinking all of this through.
He's just reveling in how good the cheese sandwich is.
I am enjoying the cheese sandwich. And I'm going, one of the things that was sensational was all of the countries where the leaders rang their PR people before they rang their doctors have had shitty results and shitty luck. And Trump didn't ring his doctors until 4 days after they requested to see him about this pandemic that was going to destroy his nation, please. And he is on paper saying, we're going to play this down, we're going to keep it small, we're going to it's only affecting
the old
stone people too.
Yes.
And
you do look a bit tired, actually. But yeah, look, there'll be some small turnaround. Raiders is pointing out Biden's pushing for a 100-day mask mandate from January 20th. Yes, but there's a whole bunch of cockhead Republican state governors who are going to refuse. America is down. Oh, yes, Kirsten. It might have been TikTok, but I think that's actually true. Erectile dysfunction is a possible side effect in some men. If they'd known that sooner, every dude in America would be wearing a mask.
Yeah, no, it's what I will say about the whole American Biden thing to anybody that's thinking about this whole 100-day mask thing. If Biden was somehow able to flick his fingers and make it absolute federal law across all of America that you were not allowed to step foot outside of your front door without a mask on, like you had to have your mask on before you left the front door, and if you didn't, you're going to get arrested and spend 20 years in jail, say, like in this completely ridiculous scenario, you are going to get a gigantic fuck off group of Americans that are going to congregate outside without masks on saying, fuck you, freedom, fuck you, freedom. So
that sort of reminds me of Melbourne a few months ago.
Oh, yeah. We did have our share of dickheads. There's no two ways about it. There were a few public displays of dickheadery.
Oh,
God. There's like all of the rumors over in the States about COVID parties where people were trying to get COVID-19. There were a couple of unsubstantiated, so very clear unsubstantiated reports that apparently people were starting to do that here in New South Wales as well. When we had an outbreak actually not far from where I live, about 10 minutes from where I live. It's a main stopover for international truckers, interstate truckers, I should say, and it's called the Crossroads. And it's right near the main highway that comes up from Melbourne, and it's right near the main highway that takes you towards Queensland. And there was an outbreak there. And it was around about that time that apparently people were trying to have COVID parties as just a way of going, it's like having the chicken pox, you get it once and you're good.
Or
and
get
it's
it
like,
and it'll all be fine.
and those people
Don't
are
worry,
fucking
it
morons.
can mutate.
Yeah. Oh, no, then you get people who don't have resistance, and but there's that whole conspiracy bullshit that's been along with it. It's not real, man. It's like, well, you're going to have a really convincing bloody deep state operation happening in the States in about a month or two when it just fucking hits its worst. Post Christmas, I think, as bad as it looks now, this will look like a walk in the park compared to where they're going to be in February next year.
You mean America?
America, they're going to be so deep in the shit by February next year.
I agree. Yeah.
Because
I'm also
they'll
waiting.
move for Christmas again. It's like,
Yeah. No, like come February, March next year, like before they start rolling out the vaccines over there, and they're at like ridiculous levels. I'm going to be taking bets as to how fast Fox News points that directly at Biden.
Yes,
And
Biden
says
said he'd fix it, and he hasn't. Oh,
Yeah.
the cheese sandwiches are gone.
The
Indeed
cheese
they
sandwiches are gone, and I've neatly put my napkin upon the plate. Now, I'm going to reach back
And put it in the sink. There's the complete package. There you go.
I'm not. Hang on.
What's he doing? So, yeah. Talking about the COVID parties, do you remember that old episode of South Park where they had chicken pox and the parents said, yes, we should get all the kids to get it. And so she had them play a game at the party where one guy spits and the other one tries to catch it in his mouth.
That's all right. I made a whole of my year 8 get chicken pox thanks to my second older sister.
Cherie, if you're still watching, I told you he's been spreading.
No, that wasn't Cherie. No, that was my other sister, Kimberly. She got it. She was in year 12, and she got it during the school holidays. And I didn't get it until it started school. And it was just domino effect right through my year.
I'm sorry to change the subject there, but Shieldsy, you said something earlier that I'm curious about. You said that you hated your state government. Are you talking about Tanya Plebiscite?
No, Anastasia.
Anastasia, sorry. Why do you hate those guys? They've been doing a great job.
Oh, you don't want to know how bad our debt's been growing since she's got in.
Oh, I honestly think
we got horrible debt up here, worse than what Australia has.
You are part of Australia, mate.
I'm a Labor person, and fucking Queensland Labor's dodgy as shit.
I know. That's what gets me. Okay.
So was New South Wales for that matter.
Still around.
Oh, okay. New South Wales are criminals. They're just straight up criminals.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
The rum rebellion never stopped. It just
Yeah, no, during the days of Yammer and Carr and whatnot, it was, they were straight up fucking criminals. There's no two ways about it. Although, having said that, we had one ray of sunshine. We had Christina Keneally, and she was actually fantastic.
Yes, and then they knifed her for it. Bruce started.
She's federal now.
They all fucking
she's gone federal now. Yeah, but no, she was in the living memory that I've got of state politics. She was definitely the best premier that we've had. Gladys Koala Killer, she is absolutely fucked.
Oh, and they're the typical level of corrupt now. I mean, slightly before my time, but in the 70s, the Liberal Premier Robert Askin, he's the one who really entrenched organised crime in New South Wales. There are photos of him go at opening night parties at illegal casinos in King's Cross.
Wow.
That's how blatant they were. He entrenched organised crime. Nifty Nev turned it into a fucking machine. He turned it into industrial scale corruption.
Made it into an art form.
Yeah, did anybody here ever watch the old TV series called Leverage by perchance?
No, not familiar with it.
It's finished now. Absolutely fantastic. Think Ocean's 11, but in TV story format. It's absolutely fantastic. way better than Ocean's 11 in my opinion. But in one of the episodes, they need to infiltrate local politics, and basically it's a group of grifters. And they go into this place and they're just like, basically everybody is trying to sell off this guy or bribe this guy or lie to this guy or act his way out of this thing. We are made for this job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, grifters in politics, man. It's a match made in heaven.
Like I'm very guilty of getting up on a political soapbox with all of my friends. It's a well-known thing. Don't mention politics around Shannon. And a few of them have turned around and said, "Why don't you run for politics?" And I looked at them and said, "Because I'm too fucking honest."
That's basically the same everyone says to me. They go, "Why didn't you run for the council or something?" I go, "No."
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with being on a council board or anything like that, but like the corruption starts at the lowest levels and just gets further and more fucked up and entrenched the higher up you go.
Yeah, I mean, even growing up in the country, I remember we're driving around Dubbo, and you don't have to go far out of town until there's dirt roads to some of the farms and whatnot. And I remember driving around somewhere with my mum, and then suddenly from this dirt road, you got this really sleek blacktop for a couple of kilometers, really nicely done, and then there was dirt road again. And I remember saying, why was that bit sealed? And my mum, she's kind of joking. She said, "Oh, the Shire president must have a property there." And it wasn't until years later that I know that she was saying it like it was a joke, but it's real. These little small-town politicians are so corrupt. They'll just divert capital works funds to their personal direct benefit.
Yeah, around here where I live, every now and again, if you want to go to someone's like house because they live on actual property, there's a private access road to get to their property. And if you've ever been on a private access road, they're the worst roads ever. Like potholes and divots and everything, they're absolutely fucked because they're not council. They're private owned and private funded, and they always go for the cheapest. There is one particular private access road, though. There are two currently sitting Liberal members that live in two of the various properties, and it is the nicest, loveliest private access road that you have ever seen in your life. Like it's like a well manicured lawn, and it's just like you're not even trying to fucking hide how corrupt you are right now. Like,
it was like Joe Bioki Peterson had a multi-lane highway built from Brisbane directly to his peanut farm, and that was at a cost of God knows how many $100 million. And I mean, okay, it went other places as well, but it went straight from Brisbane, where he had to be for Parliament, to his peanut farm, where he liked to go on weekends. And I was just like, my God.
He was our first premier. He decided, let's fly everywhere.
That's
the reason why a state has a private plane.
Yeah, there was a Speaker of the House at one point whose name I can't remember, some lady who used the helicopter under taxpayer fucking funded to go like from Canberra to a house and back or something like that.
No, you're thinking of Bronwyn Bishop, I think. She flew from Melbourne to Geelong for a fundraiser, and it actually, with getting to the airport and going through the rigmarole of getting on a helicopter, flying it to Geelong, getting off it, getting into another government car and everything, she would have gotten to Geelong quicker by driving the whole way. It cost like $10,000 for this helicopter ride that made her...
That's not bad. You should have seen what our premier did when she first got into politics. She jumped on the state government plane to go to a funeral.
Yeah, so if you leave things like a state government plane lying around, politicians are going to...
That was like within days of being voted in. She was on a plane.
Yeah. I mean, Bishop was worth, because it was actually just going to a Liberal Party fundraiser. It was using public money for just like and also she was just a terrible person. But
Angry, maybe we should try and send Aidsy to bed, mate. Like, Aidsy, you were falling asleep there, mate. We're watching you do it.
Well, I'm thinking very hard about bloody why. What are the meta implications of these? Okay, we've got all this COVID going on, and all of these premiers who must see the stats in front of them. They must see that their doctors are telling them motherfuckers are dying because of your fuck ups, and instead of eating this shit sandwich and going, okay, we're gonna backflip and change things so that we have less motherfuckers dying, they double down and go, no, my policy's the right way to go, when it's clearly and evidently not. And when I say evidently, I mean evidently.
There is literal evidence, yes.
And, and Magiclian in New South Wales is the worst for it. She will still underfund, cut out, break, and then blame the victims that she's made for their terrible work. The most disgusting thing she did was in the fires. She gutted 40% out of fire response.
Oh, if you want
gall to complain about their poor showing.
If you want to see exactly how far Gladys a koala killer is, have a look at the proposal that she put forward about trying to save what's left of the koala population after the state bushfires. It's an absolute fucking joke from beginning to end. Whoop.
All I can say is
the alien contacting AZ again.
Yeah. Fuck.
Some consternation there. Oh yeah, Raiders talking about you. Nothing. Australia doesn't compare to the rest of the world, particularly America. With fuckery.
Fucking DeSantis in Florida. Yeah.
Australia is a country full of pansy politics anyway.
There's an actual case like that. Florida's been lying about cases and deaths for a couple of months. The Florida state government has been understating deliberately and lying. And there was a scientist who had been working for the government.
Yes, I was reading about this earlier. I'm just going to bring that back up because it's really fascinating.
And she, having left the government, still had access to the information and was releasing it publicly. These are the real figures. These are the actual number of cases. These are the actual deaths and whatnot. And the governor sent the police to raid her house, saying that she'd broken the door, and cops burst in and shoved guns in her family's face, in her kids' faces, because she dared to embarrass the state governor who had been lying about the COVID cases.
So her assertion is that the governor told her that she had to lie, and she turned around and said, "No, I'm not going to do that." And was promptly fired from her position.
Yes.
So what she did is she started posting the actual numbers, like the actual factual case numbers, by herself. And what his justification for the police raid on her house is that apparently someone hacked into one of the systems that she used to have access to in her previous job. And it was done by an IP address that would have been somewhere close to where she lived. And the IP range that they're talking about, to be clear, we're talking about a radius of well over 35 miles from where she fucking lived. It was someone there, and it was like all of their Christmases had come at once to be able to just raid her fucking house. And they said, they're just after computers and all of these sorts of different things. Now, to give her full credit, she's already bought a new PC. And she's like, I've still got access to my blog. I'm still going to update this, but I don't even know what the fuck hacking is. The idea that I apparently hacked this thing is like completely fucking ridiculous. And this DeSantis fuckwit it's not that he's outright denying it, but he's basically saying, no, we're well within our rights to do what it is that we're doing. And it feels like as if what he's trying to do is just buy time for the story just to leave public consciousness as happens.
Yeah,
and then,
it'll leave public consciousness when there are bodies in the street, like when the hospital car parks are full of meat freezer trucks with bodies backed up in them. People will forget once that starts happening. People will absolutely. But I mean, that guy's lying and he knows he's fucking lying. And yes, Kirsten, it's Nazi shit. It is a governor just saying, no, if you embarrass me, I will fucking send the cops around to kick your door in and shove guns in.
This is where I was going with my closed eyes, was that you tend to find your leaders that have the most ego. Ego is probably a bad word. The most sensitive loss of face feelings are the ones that make the bigger and most protracted mistakes. Like, I had Daniel Andrews, who is shat on in the press every day, keeps on coming up to the microphone and go, so, Victoria, you love me, right? Here's another bad news thing. You're going to have another restriction. Here's another restriction. Here's another restriction. Here's another restriction. And Victoria's going, Dan, dude, you know, you're keeping us alive, but it's getting old, man. And happily recently, more and more, those restrictions are coming off now. And more and more states are happy to have us there. So that's been kind of cool. And also to his credit, there has been a little bit of public awareness that what the press is saying and what's really going on in the streets is not the same thing. And when they listen to the doctor say what the doctors say on the news and in the press conferences, that's not what this says in the papers. And the head doctors know stuff because they did studies and everything and passed tests. While we were all getting laid, they were studying. And fuck doesn't it show when they're at your bedside. Never talk to your surgeon if you can help it, ever. Just try and get your surgeon to not meet you. Sign the piece of paper and get unconscious and then talk to them after the successful operation. Because if you have to talk to your surgeon before the operation, you go, I am one dead motherfucker. He doesn't joke. He doesn't understand rhythm. He cannot dance. And there's an old Viking saying, never give a sword to a man who cannot dance. And I think that should apply to our state premiers. Berejiklian cannot dance. She can only say, don't I look pretty? And if I don't look pretty, it's going to be my birthday and you're not getting any candles. And Dan the Man, the tyrant, basically can dance and goes, so here's my dance for today. It's the dance of I'm not going to get elected anymore, but I don't care because I want us to keep you alive.
Daniel Andrews is taking advice from his experts who are actually getting their advice directly from the Mayo Clinic. It's an American-based infectious disease and other disease, like sort of meta-studies group called the Mayo Clinic. They're fucking fantastic. They released, this is as of November 19th, 2020, so fairly recent, about long-term signs and symptoms of after you've tested negative for COVID-19 after you've tested positive. So muscle pain and headaches, fast or pounding heartbeats, complete loss of smell or taste lasting up to 3 months, memory, concentration or sleep problems, rash or hair loss. These are the least worrying post-COVID symptoms that they have documented. The more alarming ones are heart, lungs, and brain damage, blood clots and blood vessel problems, mood swings, massive mood swings. And they're saying that there are still a bunch of unknown long-term side effects of having COVID-19. And Dan Andrews is taking this shit really seriously.
Next year,
we're going to have a
reveal a whole
massive
bunch of
sample in the States to check that data with. I am stunned that the United States has let itself get away with killing hundreds of thousands of itself to make the point that they're allowed to be individuals. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
Cognitive dissonance, mate.
Yeah, cognitive dissonance, but cognitive dissonance is everywhere. We believe that Andrew's white. And we go with that, and but we know it's not real.
Is an Asian man trapped in a white man's body? I don't know.
Something like that.
I didn't want to go there, but you've pulled it out of the bag.
Look, Pandora's box.
Look, I don't look at Andrew as a white guy. I look at him as my silver fox. Okay, Andrew, you're my silver fox.
I look at him as my nine-tailed fox.
Oh yeah, Andrew, you're QB.
Bit cheeky, but very dangerous, and over 9,000.
And over 9,000.
Okay, I was looking for something else on my phone.
Hang on, just 1 second, guys. My housemate just needs me. 1 second.
Right. I was looking for something on my phone, and I found something else that you now have to hear. The game Cyberpunk 2077 has just come out, and apparently you choose all these body things, including your junk and whatnot. And someone posted on one of the forums, if you're playing Male V,
I will be back in 5, guys. Sorry, just a small little thing to take care of.
I might not be here, but we'll see. If you're playing Male V, don't get a circumcised penis because it locks you out of a bunch of sex options in the game, and other characters will mock you for having a circumcised penis.
Really?
If that's true, I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Wow.
God. Apparently, in the future, no one's got their junk cut, and if you get a circumcised dick, other people will mock you for having a which I think is hilarious.
Oh my God. I'll go give the guy I know who's actually one of the developers of this game here in Australia.
Ask him if it's true.
Give him hell about that one. Oh my God. I can't believe they put in the game.
No, what I started looking up is because I just remembered, and I was putting an alarm reminder. David. Oh, it's David. Hello, David.
Hey, David. How you going, man?
What do you mean you don't know what Hanukkah is?
I know it exists. I know it goes for 8 days. And I know walking around our neighborhood, guys have given me little menorahs to go home and light because they thought I was Jewish. But that's
everyone within 5 kilometers of you knows what Hanukkah is. It's not right that you are confused. Anything that the rabbi can tell you, I know everything about Judaism. You only have to ask.
I'm sure if I just went to my neighbors and just said, could you explain Hanukkah to me? They'd probably be well into it. They're quite nice.
We're into it.
Place, and I think my neighbors are the parents of the people that we rent this place from. So, yeah.
That's because all Jews are spies.
We could explain why David's come into the stream.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
I was
David's
listening
been
and I went,
stalking
no.
me for fucking days.
Yep.
Probably because I owe him money, but
days, years.
Sorry.
I said years. We have had our eyes on you for a very long time, and
And I've had fucking motherfuckers from Mossad.
Yes. Hello.
Street puffs style. And they've been coming up and saying, get your coffee. It's time for you to go home. And it's time for you to rethink your life, motherfucker. I thought, great. Mossad from fucking South Africa. Because I fucked the accent so badly.
But they train each other.
So ashamed. Hey, Dave, okay. I need to call you this weekend. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool, man.
I can probably get off now. I just needed to
just think about Hanukkah.
About Hanukkah.
How many candles are there on the menorah?
8.
Oh, there's 8, yeah. 1
for each day of Hanukkah.
So 13.
8, you clown.
Because Hanukkah goes 13 days. I established that
earlier. There's a confusing thing because we also have what's called a menorah, and that is exactly the same thing but with 1 fewer candle. Why would they do that?
Spies.
Nice.
Spies.
Pricks.
It's the spies candle. It's the one you don't see. That's the candle that fucks you right up. It's the one that comes up behind you when you open the door during Passover to let the angel in. The candle comes in too.
Yeah. Actually, I have to make a menorah, or it's called a Chanukiah, is the one that you use for Hanukkah.
Right.
And the menorah is for some other shit. I don't know.
That's just a normal candle holder.
Yeah, but like with 7.
No, it's ceremonial.
Yeah, it's still ceremonial, but it's not for Hanukkah. Yeah.
I was at a Hanukkah once with a very progressive family, and at one point during the meal, both mum and dad said, "So now we do the what do we do?
I don't know. It's your story.
We do the, and they were looking at each other, and the kids were then going like, because there's, donuts and cool shit going around, and and mum and dad were going, oh, fuck you, I know. Now we do the eating of more sweets because that was in the first book of the thing, and the kids going, yay!
I don't know.
Just pissing myself. Because we're all fairly pissed by this stage too, by the way.
It's the oil holiday. It's the holiday with the oil. So that translates it. Well, I'm not going to try to tell the story because I actually am not a rabbi for Adam who doesn't know me. I'm really not. And I do know. I actually know squat, but basically there was a building. It was lit by a magic candle, and the magic candle stayed lit for 8 days instead of 1 day, because of the goodness of God made it possible. And so we love oil. We apparently God made it last a long time, and that is why we need to eat donuts on
everything's fried.
Fry everything up. Yeah. So tomorrow night it's latkes, and I'm very excited.
Nice. Oh. Kirsten is telling me there is a suburb in Perth called Menorah, and it's actually shaped like a menorah.
Oh.
Get the fuck out. Really?
No, apparently.
Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that view of Dave's fingers.
Oh, look at all the fingers going to Google Maps now.
Sorry, I'm matrixing into the system now.
You are. That's what it looks like.
Menorah, Western Australia.
Yeah.
Mount Lawley. Oh, okay. So it's a Jewish thing. They did that on purpose. Okay.
Yeah, they've arranged the suburb in the shape of a menorah.
It doesn't appear to be in the shape of a menorah.
No? Maybe there's some streets that do.
Yeah, maybe. The area itself just looks like a little worm or something, but a little lump. But yeah, that's cool. Maybe if we find the streets, they do have a menorah in them or something.
Something like that.
I reckon give it a Google.
From an aerial point of view, a section of the roads are shaped like a menorah.
Yeah, now I see it. I gotta go to satellite.
I can. Yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah.
You gotta go to satellite. You can't see it.
You just gotta hold your head at the right angle.
I'm shocked and appalled. I mean, I've just gotten over the Masonic symbology in fucking Washington, D.C., and now I've got to get over Jews in fucking Queensland.
Yeah.
And next thing they'll be telling me there's Muslims in Perdition.
I don't see a menorah in these streets.
Yeah, Spy. Keep going, mate. Keep pushing us.
Oh, maybe. It's like a bit of
Squint
one.
your eyes. Squint your eyes.
Yeah.
No, I think I see what they're talking about.
Sorry, there's this talk reminded me of my favorite named place, the Austrian village of fucking, and I heard a rumor that they had officially changed the name because they were sick of people stealing the sign. And I look at it, and it's true. In just this November, the council voted to change the village's name. The official name changed to Fugging, Fugging, but in their local dialect, that's still pronounced fucking. And I discovered something I didn't know. The village is named after a 6th century nobleman named Focko. Focko the noble.
Focko the noble fucker.
Very quickly.
Great.
Very quickly, I would like to introduce you all to
Hot
Dog.
Oh yes,
Hot Dog is a
Hot Dog is little. Is the Hot Dog a puppy?
And she... no, she's...
just a miniature.
5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Dog is tiny.
Yeah.
So she'd be good at going down ferret holes.
And loves putting her face...
Yeah,
directly
a
in
ratter.
his face.
Be a good ratter.
It's going, give me scratch.
She just, she will just stay here and leave her face over mine all night
That's
while I'm
fair.
giving her a back scratch.
Who did we used to have on?
That's her favourite place to
that
be.
used to have a baby, and he used to have a baby hat all the time. What was his name? He was a YouTuber with us, and he was always with his kid. His missus had come up when he was on camera, and just jumped the kid with him, and he'd like be patting the kid, and the kid would be climbing. They put the kid on his head, and the kid would just lay on his head, and he'd say, "I have a baby hat."
I don't want to indulge in stereotypes, but I think you imagine that while you're on really serious medication. That doesn't sound
I reckon if we went back through some of the thousands of the tapes, we'd find it. And I'm just autistic enough to do it.
Do it, because I want to know who you're talking about. I want to go to bed now because it's bedtime.
Very quickly, David, I've never met you before. Nice to meet you.
Hello. Hello. This is where you are. Hello.
Yeah, it's a Jewish spy.
If you remember me on one of the streams playing an animation where Aidsy and I were among the voices voicing cops, it was this
guy.
Cop. I think that was Dave's script and animation. So
okay.
It's fucking brilliant.
Now I've moved on to Mossad.
Naked Fella. Go to nakedfella.com and you'll see Dave's stuff, and it's fucking awesome. And
that sounds like Aidsy trying to get you to see Blue Waffle or something.
Yeah, no, it sounds sus coming from Aidsy. I don't know why, it just does.
Hey, Jewish Spy, is nakedfella.com really your site?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
But I also have another site now because it's difficult to have government clients when you have to direct them to that domain.
Yeah.
We can't see it.
David, am I hearing an accent there?
I pronounce my R's kind of funny.
You've been around too many Americans, I think, David.
Well, I have an American parent.
Yeah, that would be
her.
And he was trained at the CIA farm.
He was.
As well as in Sinai.
Cedar Sinai, maybe.
If you want to learn how to fucking strangle someone with fucking that cord.
Shoelaces.
What that bloody paracord. He's your man.
Yeah.
And if you want someone to do some really cool animations for a radio play coming up on this channel, he might be a man. So can we talk about that on the weekend, Dave?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
Well, I'm going to go to bed because I've set my reminder. I just remembered the state government is releasing this thing at 10 o'clock tomorrow. If you have a holiday within Victoria, you can claim back $200. And I'm going away next weekend, and I'll be spending more than $200. So I'll be able to get $200 back from the government, keeping the economy going. I'm a fucking legend.
Oh,
That's all right. I got my 250 the other day.
Nice work.
Well, with that said, to everybody watching us on all of the various platforms, good night, sleep well, live long and prosper, and all of that sort of fun stuff.
Hey,
And the cake is the lie.
Please subscribe to Angry. He's a really cool guy. And please give him lots of likes and tell 6 of your mates to.
I'm saying that. Bloody subscribe to the Angry Cocktail channel if you haven't already. So anyway, bye everyone.
And also throw some money at my GoFundMe.